Hajime. What is this nonsense? Bellerophon versus Melfi. What is this? We got little Beanie Baby duel here. Okay. Sprite, Sprint, on summon, send a level 2 from the deck to the grave. We're going to send our Nimble Angler. Angler trigger, summon from the deck. The Beaver is still restricted, right? What did they do the Beaver? The Beaver is limited to freaking 1. How the heck did that happen? Ash Blossom negating the Gigantic Sprite, which would be locking you out of being able to summon Nibiru, and also is summoning a monster from the deck. So now the opponent potentially has to fear something like Nibiru, or does not care as we just go into a Sprite Elf. Elf eat up, Elf reborn from the grave, our caddy, and then we're going to just end our turn. We have the double cross, which could steal a monster to where the Elf is pointing to, and the caddy's going to be waiting for the opponent to summon a monster. Okay, let's go. Can't imperm the caddy, but we can imperm the Sprite Elf, and you do not want to imperm the Elf in the main phase. There's a duel setting, and I'm sure Palmer does know this, but there's a duel setting that will start you in the duel with the toggle on. Otherwise, you got to be quick to toggle on. So they probably were not quick enough to toggle on manually, but it's automatic in the duel settings if you have not looked at them in a while. Just turn it on, and you don't have to worry about it. I have it set to toggle on at the start of the duel, and at the end of every turn, it just auto toggles on for me. We have Rescue Cat in response. Caddy's going to be searching for the Penny. Rescue Cat jumping off the field to summon for the deck. Nothing unless we finger that Ash Blossom. Get ready. Negate. Now we can toss on top of that a Max C. So this is what I'm talking about, protecting your Max C with something like an Ash Blossom. You have them finger something else instead of your Max C. So you have to think yourself, if you would have Max C in the draw phase, they would have fingered it, but then the Ash would have gone through. So you have to tell me, what do you like more, the Ash or the Max C? Come forth, Max C is going to be drawing per special summon now as we summon 2 monsters from the deck, but it's summoned at the same time, unlike a Nibiru being summoned and then summoning a token. That's a draw 2, this is a draw 1. What do we have here? Melfi versus Melfi. Joyous Melfies is now here. To battle phase we go. We have the Sprite double cross stealing the Melfi. It looked like it was attacking itself there. Very nice. We now have Penny using its effect to go forth into a Herald of Arc Light. Anything sent from the hand or deck to the grave will be banished instead. It's also an Omni Negate. It's also untargetable, mate. We also have an End of the Nubis. Now, this is a good counter against Fire King, right? All cards and effects that target a card in the graveyard or that activate in the graveyard are negated. All right. Gigantic Sprite. We are going to summon from the deck our blue. Let's speed this up here. Blue, grab the Jet. Jet special summon, searching for not the Sprite card that boosts up your entire field. We have Mannequin Cat now, summon for the deck. The Carrot, we're going to tribute summon for End of freaking Anubis. 10,000 damage on the field, just like that. Sprite Melfi defeating Melfi, right? That's the Melfi deck, I think. Now, hopefully Melfi could come out with at least 1 win. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm coping for. Thoughts on Whitewoods? I've been seeing it in Centurion. And what else is it being? Is it at its own deck, though? I don't think so, right? Whitewood? It is its own deck. Okay. I don't really know what it does. I just see it being played with Centurion. Imperm onto the caddy before you summon, which would trigger that caddy to go forth into a Synchro Shokan. We're now going to be searching for our Dark Beckoning Beast. Sprite Blue is here. Caddy's still trying to trigger. We're going to imperm, negate the blue. I don't think so. But we have Carrot to not only negate the impermanence, but have the blue leave the field so it's not even impermeable. Negate. Now we are going to be searching from the deck with the blue, likely a Jet. Jet is here. We have not used our Sprite starter yet. Jet on summon, searching for the double cross instead of going for a potential lethal play. What's going on? We're now making our Gigantic Sprite. Gigantic, going to detach some for the deck. Swap Frog. Is this hit by the ban list? It is. It's limited to 1. What the heck is going on? Got the Beaver at 1, the Swap Frog at 1. Are these outdated hits? We're going to reborn the Swap Frog with our Elf, send from the deck the Dupe Frog. Ronin Totem, I think, is banned in the TCG. Come forth and Shokan from the graveyard by banishing a Frog. We're now going to be making our Sprint on summon, send for the deck Angler. Angler trigger, summon for the deck. Double Nimble monsters from the deck as we further Shokan into a Mannequin Cat. We're looking at 5,800 damage here, not enough for lethal. What the heck is this doing? It's going to add a Melfi Wally, a Royal Melfi Wally from the deck to the hand. Okay. I don't think it does anything in the hand, though. Konami wouldn't let me read it. Or if an opponent's monster clears attack, return this. Yeah, this has to be on the field to have any effect. You could special summon 2 Melfis from your deck with its effect, though. Come forth and summon Alpha, the Master of Beasts. We're going to suck it up with our double cross as we further Shokan this up into a Joyous Melfi. With the Joyous Melfi, that's going to be triggering the sprint. If another monster is special summoned, you could detach a material to target the monster in the field, return it to the hand. Damn, what is going on? And then we're going to add on top of that, the Mannequin Cat's going to target the Melfis to summon from the deck a beast or an earth. What is the end of Anubis? It's not a beast, right? Isn't it dark? I don't think it's going to be summoned here. We're going to summon our own Melfi Catty off of your Melfi. Elf reborn for, I think it's a fiend, dark fiend. Yeah, dark fiend. Thank you. And just like that, unfortunately, Sprite Melfi defeating pure Melfi. Palmer, I appreciate you for playing this deck still. Thank you very much. Let's go. What are the chances you bring your pure Melfi, then play against Melfi Sprite? Damn. You have Albion, send from the deck to the grave to also draw a card here. Foolish Burial, sending our Tragedy. Tragedy, when sent to the grave, triggering to grab a Quem. Come forth Quem. Quem on summon, send from the deck. Now, Sync, oh my gosh, you are screwed. I don't know what to tell you. We are having the ability to monster banish. We could also use the branded red for even more disruption. We have Retribution for another form of disruption. We have Super Poly for another form of disruption. We have Quem, which could reborn the Mirror Jade if we can get into the graveyard into a 5th form of disruption. We also have Max freaking C. We also have Branded Loss, which could search for Mercurier for another form of disruption. We have about 6 disruptions here that we have to play through. And we're Valmonica. So, let's go. Normal summoning Celatrice, you know, it looks all flashy. It's just a normal summon. Going to be searching for the Invitaire. Invitaire will invite Valmonicas from our deck to our hand, putting 1 into our hand, 1 into the extra deck. Now we're going to Angelo, discard a card to set up the Pendulum Scales. The Celatrice and Sense of the Grave will add itself back to the hand. Now Celta's going to be searching our deck for any Valmonica card. We're going to be grabbing the Field Spell. Field Spell could only search for a Valmonica monster. We're going to grab an Angelo. Getting ready with that Pendulum Shokan. 1 from the extra deck, as many as we want from the hand. We have Exorcist or Elise. So now, if you move a card out of the graveyard, the Elise will turn into a form of disruption. But super freaking poly. Discarding Cartesia, fusing Elise into a Moo Dragon. Damn. Now, Angelo could copy the effect of a card in the graveyard. We could copy the effect to draw 2. Could return a card from our hand back to the deck and hopefully draw into something good. We have Mercurier, which is a monster negate for the Angelo. The Mirror Jade could also banish it. Cartesia has now been reborn. We have Exosister Mikalis still being summoned here. Now, what happens if you summon this without an Exosister? I think it's just not a quick effect, right? If you control this by using... Oh, you literally just don't have the effect to banish if you don't use an Exosister. Oh my gosh. What does she do? Just search? Search your deck. That's all she does. No quick? I don't think... Yeah, just no effect at all. It's not that the effect's no longer quick. The effect is gone. The effect to banish is not there. Angelo copying the effect of Celta to return a card back, then draw 2. Mercurier negate. Listen, Valmonica, you have to go first, and you have to make a Baguska, okay? Baguska Pass will be the play to defeat Branded. We're going to be adding back the Celatrice, which will not really help us. But because we gained a 3rd Resonance counter, the field spell will now activate to target a monster the opponent controls, now taking control of it. We're going to use Branded in red, likely to fuse with the Mirror Jade that you are trying to take control of. It ain't happening. Now, because we're on Chain Link 2 or higher, the Branded Loss does miss the timing on giving you protection on the summon of your fusion monster. Guardian Chimera is here. Guardian Chimera activates. Get wiping on the field, mate. If you had an Ash Blossom, it would be really good to stop this, but unfortunately we do not. Wiping out our Pendulum Scales, thus we are surrendering. An incredibly unfair duel. Let's hop into game number 2. Exosister, come forth and summon for the deck. See, when I'm playing a card game, I'm thinking, what's the optimal play? There's no such thing as, that's cheating, don't do that. No, use the optimal strategies, the biggest tricks and traps, and all you gotta do, you do it. Cast a Spell. All right, we're not Exorcist, we're Valmonica. Where's the Valmonica part of the deck? The problem is when you don't have a Valmonica, I don't know if you all know this, it says your opponent gets to tell you what effect you're using. And this one also requires you to have a Valmonica on the field in order to activate this. If you control a non-pendulum Valmonica, only then can you search your deck for the Valmonicas that would be able to set up your pendulum scales. So there's all these weird restrictions on the Valmonica cards where you're requiring the pendulums or the non-pendulum. And this is why I guess it's a good idea to mix it up with Exorcister. You got Returnia, Vadis, further Shokanin this up into Magnifica. Very nicely done. So what do we have here? We have Banish, 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 Banish. We have 4 Banishes separately. Quadra Banish. And if you manipulate the graveyard, Vadis will be able to maybe turn into a monster negate at least. So about 4 to 5 disruption they have to play through. Let's go. Albion sending from the deck. Retribution, Gold Sark activates. For example, I looked up a speedrun for Metal Gear Rising, and I was devastated to find out that the slow motion of hacking someone up is not done in speedruns, that they actually just skip it. They just slash once and then they end it. I'm like, what the heck? That's not optimal to slice people up. Mercurier going to be triggering after being banished. Searching our deck for an Albaz monster. We have Quem on normal summon. Send from the deck a branded fusion. Retribution, add back that branded fusion. And you are now manipulating the grave. You're going to move a card from the grave, thus we're going to summon from the deck. But the problem is, you now just played into a super freaking poly. But there's 3 cards we'd want to super poly because they're both going to trigger into some form of disruption. What do? Branded Fusion is here. Come to me. Martha trigger. Elise trigger. We're chaining Hovness before we activate that super poly. Now we're going to super polymerize. Discard from the hand our Sharon, which is being discarded by cost, thus it will not trigger. Using the Elise and Martha into Garura. So we still have our 4 banishes through the Magnifica and the Returnia. When do we banish? When is the play? We have non-target monster banish with the Magnifica. It's actually non-target banish of anything. Ooh, this is a difficult scenario to be in. It's a non-target steal, but the Magnifica could jump off the field into a Michaelis, but then they take control of Michaelis, but jumping off the field and summoning a new one is optional. So you could jump off the field, but then summon into nothing, thus they take nothing. This is a really good counter to Magnifica, and I'm curious to see what Sync will do. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. We're activating both effects, okay? Yep. Konami not even listing this other, is on the highlight at least. So we're going to jump off the field, but also non-target monster, banish a card of a monster. Likely that's what we're going to do. Let's go. So we're going to banish, and then we're just going to jump off the field. Is it optional to go into this, though? Is it optional? Let me double check that. Then you can. Yeah, return an Xyz attached to this, to your extra deck, then you could optionally special summon that monster from your extra deck. Isn't it correct to not do that? But I guess that turns on the Returnia, right? In order to use Returnia, it states that if you Xyz summon this turn, which we did through that, you can now banish 1 card your opponent controls. Now the opponent is activating Michaelis that you newly summoned, but it does target. And this is not even activatable if you don't control an Exorcister. This just went really bad. I don't know what to say. This just, unfortunately, this is what happened. Damn. So what the correct play, I believe, would have been to, you have to directly chain the Magnifica, right? That's the problem. When your opponent activates a card, you have to be the direct chain link to it. So you have to activate to perform the Xyz. If you chain Returnia to Xyzing, you're not going to get the effect of being able to banish an additional card because it is below it on the chain link, thus resolving first. Triple Tactics talent is just nuts. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, we obviously should not have summoned Michaelis, but I think we lost anyway, right? It's not like, oh my gosh, you blew the duel. You lost no matter what, in a way, as soon as you were activating. You would just lose your monster, can't activate the back row. Super Poly and Triple Tactics talent completely dismantling Exorcisters.